It is 0 hour 30 Universal Time. I'm Jim Tedder in Washington. Top Republican lawmakers in the United States Senate have approved a bill that would give terror suspects more legal rights. President Bush opposes the measure. The lawmakers are members of the Senate Armed Services Committee. The Republican-led group also approved a requirement that the United States honor international treaties on the treatment of prisoners during questioning. Mr. Bush says the international treaties would restrict the work of American intelligence agents. All the Democratic Party members of the Senate committee approved the bill. The proposed law will now go to the full Senate for a vote. The Iranian president says his country is open to what he calls new conditions to answer concerns about Iran's nuclear program. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad spoke with reporters during a visit to Senegal. Mr. Ahmadinejad said Iran is seeking discussions to settle the nuclear issue with other countries. He said he did not think it likely that the United Nations would agree to actions against Iran because there is, in his words, no reason for them. In Washington, a Bush administration official said that negotiations with Iran could begin after it suspends nuclear enrichment activities. Also Thursday, Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao again expressed opposition to punishing Iran. He said the nuclear issue should be settled through negotiations. Iraqi security forces have found the bodies of 20 more men in Baghdad. More than 60 other bodies were discovered in the Iraqi capital on Wednesday. A spokesman for the United States military said there has been an increase in violence in Baghdad. Major General William Caldwell said much of the increase is murders that look like executions. However, Mr. Caldwell says American forces have arrested more than 70 suspected terrorists during a month-long operation in Baghdad. Also Thursday, Iraqi officials said 2 bomb attacks in Baghdad killed at least 10 people, and 5 American soldiers were killed in separate attacks. 25 others were wounded. The top Sunni leader in Iraq has warned that religious violence is threatening the country's political process. Adnan al-Dulaimi is the head of the National Accordance Front. He called for an end to attack by militants believed to be targeting the Sunni community. He also criticized the Shiite-led Iraqi government. He said it has not acted to stop the religious violence. President Bush and South Korean President Roh Moo-hyun have reconfirmed their wish to restart the six-nation talks on North Korea. The two leaders met at the White House in Washington on Thursday. Mr. Bush and Mr. Roh spoke to reporters after the meeting. They had different ideas on how to get North Korea to end its nuclear program. Mr. Bush said he wants to use economic restrictions. Mr. Roh said he wants to hold direct talks with North Korean leaders. However, the South Korean leader said some of his government's actions amount to restrictions against North Korea. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas says several issues must be settled before a new unity government is formed. He says the issues include freedom for Hamas prisoners and a kidnapped Israeli soldier. Palestinian militants are believed to still be holding an Israeli soldier kidnapped from the Gaza Strip in June. Israel also continues to hold some Hamas government ministers and lawmakers it seized after the kidnapping. On Wednesday, ministers from the Palestinian militant group Hamas agreed to join the Fatah party of President Abbas in a new unity government. The Lebanese Prime Minister says military forces are working to guarantee the power of his government in southern Lebanon. Fuad Signora warned that troops would seize weapons they find in the area. Southern Lebanon is home to bases used by Hezbollah fighters. Hezbollah leaders say their fighters continue to operate along the Lebanese border with Israel. They said the fighters are defending land belonging to the group. Amnesty International has accused Hezbollah militants in Lebanon of war crimes during the month-long conflict with Israel. The group says Hezbollah clearly used civilians as targets when it launched rocket attacks in northern Israel. Amnesty said the attacks affected Jewish, Arab, and Druze communities. But it said Hezbollah appears to have attempted to hit Jewish areas. It also said Hezbollah denies Amnesty's accusation of war crimes. Last month, Amnesty International criticized Israel for attacking civilians in Lebanon. Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir has restated his opposition to a United Nations peacekeeping force in Darfur. Mr. al-Bashir spoke to reporters Thursday in Gambia. He accused the UN of not being interested in peace and of wanting to colonize Sudan. The UN has proposed taking over the African Union peacekeeping force in Darfur in western Sudan. The AU currently has 7,000 troops in the area. The program ends September 30th. President Bush will meet separately with the leaders of Afghanistan and Pakistan in Washington later this month. A Bush administration official says the President will meet with Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf on September 22nd. He said Mr. Bush will meet with Afghan President Hamid Karzai on September 26th. Earlier Thursday, the Afghan Foreign Ministry angrily rejected comments by the Pakistani leader. General Musharraf said the Taliban is more dangerous than Al-Qaeda because of its widespread support in Afghanistan. He also said the Taliban has roots with the Afghan people. And now briefly, here again is the major news. A United States Senate committee, led by Republicans, has approved a bill that would give terror suspects more legal rights. The Iranian president says his country is open to what he calls new conditions to answer concerns about Iran's nuclear program. And Iraqi security forces have found the bodies of 20 more men who were killed in the same way as 60 others found on Wednesday. That's the news. Jim Tedder reporting.